Hi, I'm Nate Adams, CEO and co-founder of HVAC 2.0, and also known as Nate the House Whisperer, which is our consumer-facing brand. So in this video, I want to give you an overview of the HVAC 2.0 process, because this is what holds everything together. At its core, HVAC 2.0 is a sales process, although I have to say and repeat, if ever you feel like you're selling using this process, you're doing it wrong. But let's take a look at it. So to begin, I want to mention, like I did in the first video, HVAC 2.0 is a narrow path. So when you're trying to combine building science and HVAC, it's a really narrow path to stay on it, which is why no other program has actually been successful doing this. And want to dig into just a little bit of why. This was made by Sam Myers of RetroTech, who really gets what we're doing with HVAC 2.0. RetroTech's one of the blower door manufacturers. So he started off by saying HVAC 2.0 is like having an experienced caddy with you every step of the way during each project. The process and guidance from the 2.0 members help you select the right tools and approach for every shot you take to find a viable solution to make clients happy. He totally nails it here. Everything is customized, but there is a very specific process to get there. So the curse is the traditional HVAC approach, or what we call HVAC 1.0, can allow you to come up short. In most cases, comfort issues are not solved by swapping out one box for another. The building science education provided by HVAC 2.0 gives you a diverse selection of tools in your bag to tackle issues, just like you need a selection of clubs for different positions of the course. So you can see this one comes up short, lands in the drink. The curse is the home performance or the building science full-on method. Sometimes that method of solving comfort issues can be like using a driver on a par 3. It can overwhelm clients, you give them way too much information, and allow you to miss the mark, providing more frustration than solutions for both sides. HVAC 2.0 slows this process down. That's key. This is all about slowing the sales process down. First, you do it for yourself, and then you do it for your clients as you get good at using it. And this also allows the client to play a role in what path to take next, which relieves you of liability in the end, or responsibly avoiding responsibility. This also helps develop positive relationships with clients and build trust. So back up to the top there, using the HVAC 2.0 process provides the right club and direction for each shot. By taking all aspects of home comfort into account, options can be provided to fit the budget without overwhelming clients or under-delivering at the end. And I promise this is one of the very, very few times you're going to see me reading a slide. But this is important. It's understanding that for every single shot that you take, you need to take a look at what is the right tool to do it, and the selection process for that is what the 2.0 process is made to do. So just to repeat, you're going to need to stay in your lane. That's important through this. Also critical, and in the onboarding video, I'm going to mention that this is very, very based on the Sandler sales system. So if you're going to understand what 2.0 is doing, you need to listen or read to these two books, or else it's going to sound alien and it's going to feel weird. So you need to understand why we are doing things. So go get yourself, you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar, and selling homeowners the Sandler way. We generally recommend listening to these, because most people in the HVAC industry have windshield time. Use your windshield time for this. Because again, if you don't dig into Sandler, you're going to miss the boat. And what this leads to, Sandler gives you the keys to get to where if you feel like you're selling, you're doing it wrong. Now, quick note, the prime directive of HVAC 2.0. So shamelessly stealing from Star Trek because I'm a bit of a nerd. The prime directive is to deliver excellent experiences for both contractors and homeowners. This is a really hard balance to strike because you can make one or the other happy, but to make both of them happy at the same time is pretty challenging. So that's what we strive to do in this. Here's what that looks like. So for you, if you've ever felt like you're selling, you're doing it wrong, you're going to get paid for your expertise rather than doing a bunch of dog and pony shows for free. And you will get to responsibly avoid responsibility. So don't take the blame for stuff that you don't need to take the blame for. For the clients, they're offered a bunch of options with pros and cons, so they get education through this. They choose the path that is right for them at every step. And most importantly, they share responsibility for outcomes, so you are not born with all of that responsibility on your shoulders. So this is the process, and this is what we're going to walk through here in this video. So let's start with, are there comfort problems to solve? That's the key thing. You need to understand what the answer to this is, because if they don't have any problems to solve, you're just going to change their box. And so that's what the free quote looks like. If there aren't any issues, just change the box. Important piece here, no free consulting. If little Johnny's room doesn't heat or cool well, don't talk about little Johnny's room. Let them know you have a process to help you figure that out, because otherwise you're just guessing. So stop with the free consulting. This is going to be a like-for-like change-out, with the only exception of unless they give you a spec. So they need to tell you what size equipment they want and preferably what type of equipment they want. Single stage, two stage, modulating, whatever it might be. And this is where you get to put weight on them. This has led to some pretty funny stories when a homeowner's like, well, what size do you think I need? And the 2.0 contractor replies, I don't know. What size do you think you need? We're both guessing at this point, so your expertise is as valid as mine on this, because it can vary so widely. And that really makes the homeowners blanch and step back. And that's an important thing to do. Slow them down. Transfer that responsibility to their shoulders. So you can always say, I'm happy to install that, but if duct pressures, meaning static pressure, is above manufacturer specifications, you are responsible for the cost of duct modifications. So you're helping educate them. This is really important, particularly since all furnaces come with ECM motors now. So we're hearing of a fair number of failures of ECM motors coming from high static pressure in ducts, where the old PSC just trundled along. So if the answer to there are comfort problems to solve is yes, that is when you do an HVAC 2.0 comfort consult. This is a paid service. Again, you get paid for your expertise now. This is about the split that we're seeing from contractors that are doing a good job of educating their clients about these two paths. About 30% are going comfort consult, 70% are going free quotes. And the ones that are doing the free quotes, the amount of time they're spending on those is halving, and it is not hurting closing ratios. So you're just flat out spending less time. Now you have to ask which path is best here, and this is for the consumer to decide. And you have them decide by asking them what we call the 4 questions. And they are there rooms that don't heat well? Are there rooms that don't cool well? Are there any health issues, usually respiratory, in the house? And are there any moisture issues in the house? And for each of these, it's not a yes or no. It is a ranking thing on a scale of 1 to 10. And here's how it scores. If you answer 1 to 12, the process recommends a free quote. Like, don't mess around, just get a free quote, change your equipment out, move on. If they are in 13 to 18, they're in a gray area, so now they need to really think about which path they want to choose. And then if they are 19 to 40, it's a comfort consult. That's just recommended. You've got problems to solve, so let's figure out what they are and how to solve them. And then there's one little caveat. If they answer 8 or higher to any one question, a comfort consult is recommended because they have something to fix. Important note, this is an automatic tool in the software, and this also is embeddable in your website. So somebody can go fill this out and shoot their lead right into the 2.0 software. Here's what it looks like in the software. Parts of my house are uncomfortable or sticky in the summer. And then we give them a few things to kind of cue them to think about it. Is it warmer when you walk up the stairs? A common complaint. Does it feel sticky inside sometimes? Do you notice odors on humid days? Is any room noticeably warmer than the rest of the house? Is it hard to fall asleep sometimes because of the heat? So we're trying to introduce them to pain questions that help them answer this question well and accurately. And then each one gives them a place, as you can see here, for additional information so they can explain about that. 'Cause some people want to go on, and other people just want to keep moving. So let's either one be happy. And then does anything not heat well? Here are the health concerns. And then examples of moisture issues, mold or mildew, overflowing gutters, standing water, rotted wood, things like that. So these are all in there, and it's part of the intake process. So next piece is the second big question in the 2.0 process is HVAC likely to solve the problems that the client has? And you figure this out by getting a good understanding of what their goals are, what their house needs, and what their budget is. And the budget, very important here. This is not what will it cost to fix. This is what is it worth to fix, and is there any way to get there? And if those three things can cross, you have a viable project, or now we're calling this the sweet spot. And what it looks like, you do a detailed interview, you do a blower door test. The blower door is the only tool that you have to do 2.0. Then you will do a quick load calc. There's several tools that do that. Don't spend hours doing a load calc. You should spend minutes. And then you put together a report for that client that helps them understand what you discovered, and then helps point them in a certain direction. So you don't tell them which way to go, but you give them suggestions on which way to go. All of this is built into the 2.0 software. The software, I don't really view it as software, frankly. I view it as a way to keep you on track because that path is so narrow. So this will keep you on that narrow path without falling off to one side or the other. That is what the software is made to do. And most importantly, you're getting paid for your knowledge. So remember that. Another important point here, the Comfort Consult, this isn't something to go charge a fortune for, because now you are getting paid for something you didn't get paid for before, and this is going to lead to bigger sales and better margins. So the goal here is to cover costs, not to make it a profit center, because this is offsetting marketing costs now. Now, if the answer to is HVAC likely to solve the problem is yes, now you do a tailored replacement. So now you know what size they need. They're going to be educated about single stage, two stage, and variable speed. Almost everyone that goes through a Comfort Consult buys a top of line piece of equipment or near top of line piece of equipment. And then they're also very likely to buy other accessories as well. So you may sell a ventilating dehumidifier or something like that here. Now, if HVAC is not likely to solve the problem because the house is a leaky train wreck, then you would head them towards the comprehensive planning process. This involves both insulation and air sealing as well as HVAC, and this is really what holds the process together. So let's take a look at a different way to look at it. So when you're coming in, the free quote is basically like a clinic. So let's imagine we have 100 people that have something wrong with them. So 70 of them go to the clinic, they get their boo-boo bandaged up, and they're sent home. The Comfort Consult is like the ER. So there's something that's pretty seriously wrong, or we think something's pretty seriously wrong. Once they go to the ER, if they can just replace their HVAC, that's like going to the OR. So, all right, now we're going to the operating room, we're going to set the bone, and we're going to send you home. You'll be okay. But sometimes the patient's really in trouble. And it's not a huge percentage, but sometimes that's the case, and that is the intensive care unit. So the CPP serves as the ICU. Without having the comprehensive planning process, this whole thing breaks, because the whole idea of 2.0 is that you can confidently walk into any house with any problem and know with a high degree of certainty that you can solve those problems. That is very unique to 2.0. There's nothing else that does that, and that is why we call it 2.0, because this brings in the other half of the equation, or more than half of the equation, which is the house. The box is one piece, then you have the duct system and the house, which is the other side. Now, so you know that we can actually do these. This is my partner Ted and I's practice in Cleveland called Energy Smart Home Performance. So we did these projects specifically to develop the 2.0 process. And so you can go take a look at what these advanced projects look like. This is not going to be a big piece. So we're thinking at most 3 out of 100 clients are going to do this. So this is not something to freak out about, and you can actually steer people away from this if you want. And you probably will early on before you get your feet wet. So if you don't want to read, you can also watch the videos about Peter's house. So Peter and Dexlinger is a really fun client of ours who's an engineer who likes to jump out of perfectly good airplanes. He's upwards of 6,000 jumps. And that's him jumping off a cliff with a wingsuit on. So his was a pretty tough house to do. We had to combine 2 HVAC systems into one, and the house was a leaky mess, and we had to fix that at the same time. So it was not a simple project, and that'll give you an idea of what it looks like to do these. Now, very important point, note that at all endpoints of 2.0, it sells HVAC. So this is what we noticed when we screwed up, we sold HVAC, which then made it really obvious that the ideal contractors to go to with the process that we've been developing are HVAC contractors. So here you are. And here's what we're seeing: about 70% go free quote, 30% go comfort consult. Of those 30, 27 of them go to a tailored replacement, and only 3 go to the CPP. So the CPP is nothing to be afraid of. It's good to just know that it's there. And through all of this, you need to be able to jump confidently knowing that you will be caught when you get there. So if you're worried about the CPP, don't be. It's not actually that hard because we've broken it down into small steps. But know that it's there and be confident walking into any house knowing you can fix it. But to be able to do that, again, you have to stay in your lane. So there's the full process, and this is where we'll help you work through all of this and get it implemented throughout your company. So thanks again for watching. I'm Nate Adams. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.